Summer is slowly coming to an end, and that's why it's a perfect opportunity to plant a couple of trees. And let me explain why. See, I'm a very impatient person, and that's why I've never planted a tree in my life, because when the weather gets good during spring or early summer, I just think to myself, okay, I'm gonna plant these trees, but I'm not gonna enjoy them this summer because trees take time to grow. And that's why this year I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna plant the trees towards the end of summer so that when I come back next year they're gonna be nice and grown and my garden is gonna look a lot prettier. And at that point I think I'm going to thank myself, and I think you should do the same if you're anything like me.
This is how my garden looks like today. A bit sad with the hosepipe ban in place. I'm doing my best to keep the plants alive, but unfortunately the grass has left the chat. The garden still looks quite empty and there is very little privacy, so I think trees will make a difference.
And I've already chosen the perfect places for my trees. One's gonna go here and the other's gonna go over here. Let's get started.
The hardest part of planting is digging. I'm marking the tree bed using this fence and then proceed to remove the grass and dig a hole for the tree roots. This side of the garden is exposed to sun throughout the day, and the soil here is extremely dry. It takes a lot of effort, but fortunately I'm able to do it just using my shovel. Over the other side things are much easier as this side isn't exposed to the sun as much, and I was able to remove the grass and make a hole quite quickly.
Right, the holes are done, the grass is gone. We can now soak these trees for about 20 minutes in some water, and I'm gonna mix some of the soil with compost, about 50-50 ratio, before planting.
The trees are soaking in water and I'm mixing soil with compost because nutrients, and it's time for planting.
Let's take this container out, and the one thing we need to do is free up the roots, because otherwise they're gonna go round and round. We want them to grow outward, so let's do that carefully. I don't want to cause damage. Carefully but firmly.
This requires a little bit of patience, and it is a little awkward, but it is a crucial step for roots to grow correctly and keep the tree stable when it's windy.
Not too high. We want this to be at the same level as the ground, so I think right here is actually quite good. Which way? Let's do this way. This way is good.
Almost there with the first couple of trees I have ever planted. You know, this reminds me of my grandfather. When I was a little boy back in Ukraine, he used to have the most wonderful garden full of trees he planted to create what it felt like the most amazing place a child could be. Apples, pears, cherries, plums, all so delicious. My grandfather passed when I was just 9, and really so did the garden. But I'll always have those beautiful memories.
The next thing I want to do is drive the stakes in to stabilize the trees, because it does get quite windy here in the winter. I don't want the trees to break. I don't know, the stakes, they do seem a little bit big to me, but these bamboo ones that came with the tree, I think they're way too small. I don't think they're gonna hold the tree. So I'm gonna replace it, and I hope it works. It should work, I don't see why not. I'm gonna be careful not to damage the roots, but apart from that, let's just do it.
In go the stakes, and oh my god, the dry soil on one side makes a huge difference. I really struggle to drive the stake in. It doesn't feel like I'm doing this right, and I don't know why. If you have any tips for me, let me know in the comments. With the stakes in, I'm using a couple of ties to hold the trees in place firmly and protect them from strong winds until they're strong enough to stand on their own.
The idea was to install this fence around the trees, but I kind of feel like it's gonna be too much because I've already got 2 flower beds that use the same fence. So I think I'm just gonna do tree bark, and that should be nice enough, because this feels a little bit too much for some reason, so I think I'm gonna leave it. I mean, worst case, you can always try and install it later, but let's give it a go with some tree bark.
I love the look of the tree bark, but actually it also holds moisture and protects the roots from the sun, so I find it a great option for my flower and tree bed.
I really quite like it just like that. No offense.
No offense, but no offense this time. I think this looks lovely as is. Sometimes less is more, and this is one of those times.
We're nearly done. The only thing I want to do is install some lighting on both trees, just to keep them visible at night.
Installing the lights is pretty easy. I'm just lining them up, marking the holes, and use a couple of wood screws on each side to hold them in place. Now, all I need to do is keep watering the trees frequently, at least until rain comes back to England, which should be fairly soon. And with that, my job here is done.
Honestly, I don't know why I haven't done this a really long time ago. Look at this. They're fantastic. As is. But the next summer, they're gonna be even better. If you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you the next time. Take care.